What's up, everybody? Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. So, today I want to talk about envy. The reason being is it's something I've dealt with, both having done it to someone and having it done to me. And from my experience, it's not a good thing on either front, because as the Bible says, you're not supposed to covet, and envy, covetousness, it's the same thing. So before I even start, I also want to say that the thief of joy is comparison. So don't compare yourself to anyone, because that also leads to envy. But I'll get into that in the rest of the video, okay? And to add to that, no matter what you are, in a sense, where what you've accomplished, whether it be huge, small, there will always be somebody out there that has accomplished more than you and that has more than you. So that's unavoidable. This is why I say envy, it's a bad thing, because yeah, it makes no sense. There's always going to be somebody that's ahead of you. If you're talented at something, particularly a sport, there is always going to be somebody that is better than you, and that's just the truth, right? This isn't to say that you shouldn't work hard, because you should, but at the same time, there will always be somebody that is ahead of you, whether it be academically, physically, mentally, financially. All right, so let's get into it. Before I talk about it, what is envy? So envy is defined as something that you want from somebody else that they already have. Let's say they have a wife. Instead of wanting a wife for yourself, you want that person's wife, and vice versa. You see your girlfriend with a husband, that's for the females. Instead of wanting a husband for yourself, you want their husband, right? So that is the difference between envy and wanting something for yourself. Because you can see your friend with a husband or a wife, and you want a wife or a husband for yourself and not want their husband or wife. That's not envy. That's you wanting something for yourself. Envy is when you want what they have, right? And this is why the Bible talks about it. This is why I believe that covetousness / envy is a part of one of the laws of the Bible. Reason being, Cain and Abel. Right? Now, a lot of people say that it was jealousy, and yes, that is true. He was jealous of what his brother was doing, but he was also envious because the Lord accepted Abel's gift and did not accept his. That envy led to jealousy, and that jealousy led to the first murder in the Bible, right? This is how bad envy can be, right? So what I want to discuss is some of the reasons that you shouldn't envy anybody, because at the end of the day, it doesn't help you, it doesn't help the person, it doesn't help anyone. My reason number one is you don't know how that person got what they have. Meaning, a lot of the times people sell out to get things, and sell out means do uncompromising things, go against their morals, all that. Women and men do it all the time. So you don't know what this person has done to receive what they have. And then when they've done it, you don't know what follows them, because a lot of the time what follows them is shame and pride. Mostly shame, because they're not proud of what they had to do to get it, right? They had to go against their morals. They had to compromise themselves, do things that they would never want the world to know about. And that's what's happening in a lot of the world today. People doing things to get material things and then later regretting it, and then they can't take it back because they already did it. So my number one reason is you don't know what they did to get it, whether they worked hard for it or they did something uncompromising or compromising, or something that went against their morals. So never envy anybody, because you never know where, how, what, why they came about what they have, right? Envy also makes you bitter, which comes back to the jealousy. bitter in the sense that when you envy someone, you don't just want what they have, you hate that they have it. That's the bitterness. Let's say your friend gets promoted or your friend gets a girlfriend or a new car. Instead of being happy for them, you're jealous and then wishing that they didn't have it, because at the end of the day, you probably feel some way in yourself that you don't have a car or a girlfriend or you didn't get the promotion. And you should not feel that way for your friend. You should be happy for them, because at the end of the day, everybody is to progress. And if you're fighting against someone else's progression, then you are not a good person. And that's just the truth. And we're striving to be good people. We're not striving to be perfect, because again, the only perfect being that walked this earth was Jesus, and nobody else is perfect. So we're striving to be as Christ-like as possible, right? With that bitterness, you will hate them. Hate them for absolutely no reason, because they did nothing to you. They're moving up and you're hating them for that. And because of that hate, that will stagnate your progress. That's what a lot of people don't talk about. You envy people, it will stagnate you. You'll stay stuck where you are, and then you wonder why you're stuck, not realizing it's because you're bitter and envious of someone else's progression. That's unfair to you, and it's unfair to them. All right? My third realization in regards to envy is a lot of the times it makes you lazy. Meaning, you see that person going up and you're not going up. You don't want to work anymore because you don't see the point. And people might not say this or realize it, but it does happen. It might not happen a lot, but it does happen. You get lazy, you don't want to do whatever it is to elevate, and then when you are stuck, not because you're working, but because you're not working, you get stuck. You get even more bitter and envious, right? And then with the more bitter you are, the more envious you are, the more lazy you become. You don't want to do anything. You just want to take what that person has. And that leads to even stealing, committing crimes, taking what people have for yourself because you don't want to work for it. A lot of the times people think that laziness is just from lack of not wanting to do something, but it also comes from envy, right? Again, you see someone working hard, you don't want to work hard, and that's not fair to you or to the person, because you're taking what they worked hard to get for yourself, and you're taking it and you don't deserve it. That's the truth. You are not a good person if you do that. You're not a good person if you envy somebody, especially when they're doing something good and they're moving up and you might not be moving up the same time. And honestly, a lot of the times when that happens, it's just a test. It's God testing you to see what's in your heart, right? And you want to pass that test, and to pass that test, you have to be happy. Be happy for progression, because if you are somebody that's been in poverty or broke, I don't like to say poor because poor is a mentality. It's not a state, it's a mentality. All right? And you see someone come from out of being broke or out of poverty, and instead of being happy for them, you envy them and you hate them. That makes no sense, because at the end of the day, you know what it was like, what they were going through, right? So you know what it's like to be broke or in poverty. You know what they had to go through, the struggles they had to go through. And then the fact that they elevated, you should be happy for them, because you never know what could happen after that person gets elevated. They then elevate you, or God allows them to elevate you from the abundance that they have, right? Or after they get elevated, you get elevated. A short period after, maybe a year or two, really doesn't matter. You still get elevated. All you have to do is to keep your head down and work, right? So my take is, being envious doesn't help you in the least bit. It never will, and it never has, and it never will. Right? Envy, jealousy, covetousness, that caused the first murder in the Bible. So that alone should tell you that you shouldn't do it, right? I'm not telling you that not being envious is easy, because a lot of times you'll see somebody that maybe doesn't deserve it, or you might think they don't deserve it, and they get it, and you were waiting for it and you don't have it. It hurts. I've been through that. It hurts. But at the same time, you can't focus on that. You have to focus on what you're doing, focus on yourself, building yourself, right? So that was my take on envy. I hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more.